Better a little which is well done, than a great deal imperfectly. I never did anything worth doing by accident, nor did any of my inventions come by accident, they came by work. The greatest wealth is to live content with little. The wisest have the most authority. A hero is born among 100, a wise man is found among 1,000, but an accomplished one might not be found even among 100,000 men. The most virtuous are those who content themselves with being virtuous without seeking to appear so. One man cannot practice many arts with success. Never discourage anyone who continually makes progress, no matter how slow. The empty vessel makes the loudest sound. Wise men talk because they have something to say, fools, because they have to say something. Those who are able to see beyond the shadows and lies of their culture will never be understood, let alone believed, by the masses. For to fear death, my friends, is only to think ourselves wise without really being wise, for it is to think that we know what we do not know. For no one knows whether death may not be the greatest good that can happen to man. People are like dirt. They can either nourish you and help you grow as a person, or they can stunt your growth and make you wilt and die. If a man can be properly said to love something, it must be clear that he feels affection for it as a whole, and does not love part of it to the exclusion of the rest. In politics we presume that everyone who knows how to get votes knows how to administer a city or a state. When we are ill, we do not ask for the handsomest physician, or the most eloquent one. Dictatorship naturally arises out of democracy, and the most aggravated form of tyranny and slavery out of the most extreme liberty. No man should bring children into the world who is unwilling to persevere to the end in their nature and education. There is in every one of us, even those who seem to be most moderate, a type of desire that is terrible, wild, and lawless. The man who makes everything that leads to happiness depends upon himself, and not upon other men, has adopted the very best plan for living happily. This is the man of moderation, the man of manly character and of wisdom. Good people do not need laws to tell them to act responsibly, while bad people will find a way around the laws. The first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself. To be conquered by yourself is of all things most shameful and vile. Wise men talk because they have something to say, fools, because they have to say something. A man who is good for anything ought not to calculate the chance of living or dying, he ought only to consider whether in doing anything he is doing right or wrong, acting the part of a good man or of a bad. God only is wise, and by his answer he intends to show that the wisdom of men is worth little or nothing. He is not speaking of Socrates, he is only using my name by way of illustration, as if he said, he, O men, is the wisest, who, like Socrates, knows that his wisdom is in truth worth nothing. For the fear of death is indeed the pretense of wisdom, and not real wisdom, being a pretense of knowing the unknown, and no one knows whether death, which men in their fear apprehend to be the greatest evil, may not be the greatest good. Some one may wonder why I go about in private giving advice and busying myself with the concerns of others, but do not venture to come forward in public and advise the state. I will tell you why. You have heard me speak at sundry times and in divers places of an oracle or sign which comes to me, and is the divinity which Meletus ridicules in the indictment. This sign, which is a kind of voice, first began to come to me when I was a child. It always forbids but never commands me to do anything which I am going to do. This is what deters me from being a politician. I know that my plainness of speech makes them hate me, and what is their hatred but a proof that I am speaking the truth?